Mortgage demands at a 28-year low. Interest rates pushed over 7% this week. And we have some big news coming up next week. A little bit of an exciting week this week when it came to rates and mortgage news, and I'm ready to get into it all with you today. Again, my name is Kadyn Nannini, loan officer out of Phoenix, Arizona, here again with yet another mortgage rate and news update, and doing a little bit of forecasting, predicting for the market through 2023, talking on this week and talking on next week with some important data points that happened this week. Let's dive into it. Like I said at the top, mortgage demand was at a 28-year low. Did not think it was that bad, but my goodness, what has happened? We had some insane demand in January, and February really tapered off with rates ticking up. And this last week alone, rates pushed over 7% on Wednesday and Thursday. We had a very good rally day today on Friday. But really hoping to see some even further rallies next week with some very, very important jobs reports that are coming out. So like I had mentioned, mortgage demand 28-year low, my goodness. And then on top of that, kind of conflicting information, we're going back to January though, pending sales on homes was up 8.1%. It was expected to be 1%, an insane number. We saw droves of people coming out in January, whether it was talks of the holidays with families saying, I want to purchase a home and whatnot. But the demand was insane in January and ticked off when rates went up in February, or if people were not sure if this is what they wanted to do. Along with that, those were the two major things that happened this week. But along with that, going into next week, two major things that are going to happen. We are looking at Jerome Powell. He is going to be speaking from the Fed. They're going to be talking on things to come. So that's very important. Anytime he speaks, investors react. So you want to hope it's positive. They're probably going to talk on further interest rate hikes on the Fed level, and how that might play a role. And to be honest, when rates rise, they're expecting certain things out of the Fed. So as long as they're not doing anything that's coming out of left field, we should be fine. But the even bigger news is we have two jobs reports. If you remember in February for January, the jobs reports came out and showed that the January labor market was much hotter than expected. If diving into the numbers and listening to the experts speak on it, the headline did not match the actual numbers in the report, but the Fed has stated they are going off headlines and they're going off the information they're given without diving too deep. So we need these headlines for these jobs reports to show this labor market is cooling. For interest rates, we need the labor market to cool as well as inflation to cool, and we need that combination. Again, we are all working towards a key date of May 10th. That is where inflation should really start to peak, as well as shelter costs, so rent and home, and more so rent costs. But once we hit that, we'll start to see inflation start to taper. Until then, it could be a wild ride, and I'm taking that from Barry Habib with MBS Highway. These are very knowledgeable experts on all of this, and it is just the key date when it comes to rates, and we'll really see stuff start to tick down. Along with that, I have kind of a prediction of taking in information and seeing, and what I'm seeing. Where we have it is we have rates that are a little bit inflated right now. They're hovering about, as of today, about 6.8 to 7% for paying 1%, and for the national average. So that's where we sit today. I'm still seeing homes, where I'm licensed in, around Seattle and around Phoenix, where homes are getting multiple offers if they're desirable, not all homes. But we're in that situation currently. So think if rates get better, there's a lot of people waiting on the sidelines wanting for rates to get better. Well, they're all going to come back if they start to see a rate and a payment they like. That's more buyer demand. And here's the problem. I don't think we're going to see sellers and inventory hit the market quite then. I think we're going to see these big droves of buyers hit before we have the inventory to take, for them to find places. So we're going to go into this big sellers market with a lot of people trying to find certain homes. What I think it's going to take to get inventory back on the market is I think we're going to need to get into a consistent space of about somewhere in the 5% rate range for sellers to go, okay, if I have this lower rate from 2020, 2021 of, 2.5% to 4%, they're going to need to see something in the fives to coax them out of selling their home and moving up, without spending too much on a monthly payment. I think that might happen later, at the late end of this year, maybe late summer into the fall, as where you'll start to see these sellers start to come out and go, okay, I think this makes sense numbers wise. So I think we're going to be in a weird summer where there's this insane buyer demand and not everyone is listing their home that, you think they normally would during the summer. So that's my prediction for 2023 of insane buyer demand. And we won't hit, our inventory is not going to hit like we need it to until maybe it's a little too late in 2023. And then maybe we can get into some stability in 2024 as we all figure out this market and can hit some consistent interest rates. This will all probably come at the expense of a recession. So keep that in mind. But that is what I have today for a prediction, what's currently happening and what's happening next week. I don't know what else to say. It has been a crazy market. Volatile is the word, but I'm happy to be sharing this information with you all. If you have not already, and I encourage you so much, hit that subscribe button to catch all of my mortgage rate updates. I will also be dropping a video every Wednesday talking about something in mortgage or just my thoughts on something. So I would love for you all to catch that as well. And then hit that like button, show me some support, and maybe we can be reached out to a few other people. But as always, if you want to reach out and have any questions to me, you can always comment down below or reach out to me in my to my contact information below. I'll be more than happy to speak on any questions or any topics that anyone wants to hear. But that being said, very stagnant week this week, exciting week next week. Let's hope it's a positive excitement and not us all pulling our hair out. So that is what I have for you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.